Hey everyone, Pitts here. I'm going to be doing a two-part video on the NBA matchup between the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. In the first video, I'll be talking about the matchups, predictions. Second video, I'll be talking about my best bets for Game 1. So on the season, the Nuggets are 2-1 versus the Suns. All three games came back in January, and the away team won each matchup. Back then, Denver's team was completely different. Michael Porter Jr. didn't play many minutes. He was actually playing off the bench, and Paul Millsap was the starter. And the other players that were different, Gary Harris was on the team back then. Since then, he's been traded. In those three games that he played against the Suns, he scored 7, 19, and 10. Those points will not be there. Another player that won't be there, Jamal Murray, tore his ACL later in the season. In the three games that he played against Phoenix, he scored 31, 18, and 26. He won't be there. Those points won't be there. Other players that won't be there for the Nuggets, Will Barton, he's hurt. He scored 17 points in one of the games. And he's a great defender on Booker. That's not going to be there. PJ Dozier, their sixth man, he's also hurt. He's also a good shooting guard defender. He's out of the lineup. So this just leaves Faco Campazzo, who's a 5'8" Argentinian rookie, who's 30 years old, and the newly acquired Austin Rivers at shooting guard, and Monte Morris off the bench, who has been killing it in these past few games. I believe Monte Morris should be the starter at point guard. However, he helps that bench significantly. Him and Paul Millsap off the bench helped the Nuggets tremendously. So, the Morris props aren't available. And I know I said I will be releasing a betting video, but that makes me mad that his props aren't available because that's an easy W for all of us, whether it's his assists or his points. So Paul's re-injury concern risk is high in my opinion. He's going against a gritty defender who is up in your face and is not afraid to get a technical or to get in your face so that it affects your game. Faco will dive on the ball for a steal. He'll go up for a block. As small as he has a fight. CP3 on the other hand is looking for he's a true point guard. He's the best point guard in the league, in my opinion. Best leader in the league, and will be a coach one day. A highlight of Campazzo in the last round, he actually shoulder charged Anthony Davis and knocked him over, the 7-footer. It's on YouTube, check it out. So I'm going to go into the starters here. Projected starters for the Phoenix Suns at point guard, it's Chris Paul. Shooting guard, it's Devin Booker. Small forward, it's Mikal Bridges. Power forward, Jay Crowder. And center, DeAndre Ayton. And I believe their starting five is better than the Denver starting five. The Denver starting five is the 5'8" Faco Campazzo, Facundo. Shooting guard is Austin Rivers, who wasn't on a team until March. Small forward, Aaron Gordon, who can also play guard or power forward. He's very versatile, great two-way player. Power forward, Michael Porter Jr. He's only 21 years old at 6'11", very good jump shooter. And at center, Nikola Jokic, the league's MVP, in my opinion. And we're going to go Campazzo versus Paul. I think Paul is obviously the better player in this matchup, and he will take advantage of this matchup. But you got to watch out for his shoulder injury risk. And I think CP3 gets a lot of assists in this series. And then in the fourth quarter, if he's matched up against Monte Morris, he'll score at will. That's when Chris Paul takes over games. Moving on, Booker versus Rivers. Booker is clearly the better player here. However, I think both of these players will get over their player props and points. Neither one of these guys are great defenders. Booker is primarily a scorer. He focuses on that side of the ball. We're going to move on to small forward. We got Michael Bridges taking on Aaron Gordon. Both of these players are gritty. Both of these players are good two-way players. Mikel's quicker and a little smaller. Aaron Gordon's stronger. Aaron Gordon's better in the paint. Mikel's better at the three-point line. I'm staying away from props from these two players because they are really good role players and they do the little things that come unnoticed. But if I were to take a prop, it'd probably be Mikel over his 3-point total. Moving on, Crowder versus Porter Jr. Crowder's 30 years old. Porter Jr. is 21. Porter Jr. has 5 inches on him. Porter Jr. is the better offensive player, where Crowder is the better defender. Both can make their three-pointers. I'm going to take MPJ's points in this series. I'm going to heavily take his points. Coming off of last series versus the Lakers, I think he plays a lot better offensively. And then moving on, this is the best matchup, I would say. DeAndre Ayton versus Nikola Jokic. Now, earlier this season, Jokic had said that Ayton is one of the best defenders at defending him due to his athleticism, size, and weight. I think Jokic is going to get over 30 points if he really wants to in each game, unless he gets double-teamed. If he gets double-teamed, he's going to look to pass the ball more, which I like his assist prop over 7.5 in Game 1. I expect both of these guys, Ayton and Jokic, to lead their teams in rebounds. Ayton had a really good series against the Lakers, and I expect them to have a great series against the Nuggets as well. I do like both of these guys' points totals and rebound totals in Game 1, and I like Jokic's assist totals. I want to see, before I place any of these bets, I want to see how they match up against each other and how Phoenix decides to defend Jokic. If Jokic is doubled after Game 1, I would like him out in Game 2. I will take his assist prop. If he's not, I will take his points prop in Game 2. This is what I'm going to look at. Both teams also have key bench players. Denver, Monte Morris. I already mentioned him. He has been dynamic. He scored over 40 fantasy points in the last 2 games of the series against Portland. It's absurd coming off the bench. He outperformed the starter, Campazzo, lights out. Campazzo is the better defender, but Morris provides that spark that Denver needs off the bench offensively. They also have Paul Millsap, who is a veteran and has many playoff experiences with the Hawks. He's very gritty as well. They also have Jermichael Green, who's a good contributor off the bench. For Phoenix, they have Cameron Payne. I believe he's the best backup point guard in the league, and he gets to learn from the best point guard in the league, the best true point guard in the league, in CP3. Last series he averaged 12.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists off the bench versus the Lakers, and that's pretty good. He was third on the team in scoring for the Suns. And then Cam Johnson off the bench. He's a great young core player. Versus the Lakers, he averaged 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. I love both of these teams, and this series is going to be very exciting in my mind. I hope it is. I think it's going to go 6 or 7, with the Suns moving on to the Western Conference Finals ultimately. I have both of these teams as future bets to win the NBA championship, both at plus 2,400 odds. I put about $50 on each, so I'm hoping that these teams win. Once they go on, I hope they beat whether it's Utah or Los Angeles Clippers in the next round. In my opinion, I think it'll be the Clippers, which is going to be tough for either one of these teams, but I think the Suns have the better chance to make it to the championship. And whether it's against the Nets or the Sixers, I think the Suns have a great chance to win it all this year, led by CP3, their coach, and all the players they have. Jay Crowder is a great addition that they got this year after coming from the Heat. He's a great teammate. And so stay tuned for my next video. I'll be releasing the props that I like for this game. And I hope you all have a great day. Please like and subscribe as well.
Thanks.